Hello, hello. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hopefully, you can see and hear me okay. Welcome, welcome. Hello. I am Francie Soito. I'm a Reiki master and psychic medium, and I'm also here to talk about being a psychic detective. So, I'm starting a new class on March 9th for 3 weeks on psychic detective. It's about being an investigator using your psychic senses. But before I dive into that, I just want to share a little bit about what does it mean to be a psychic detective. So a lot of times as psychics, as mediums, we'll get approached by clients who have mysteries that they're trying to help solve. It could be a missing person, a loved one that's gone missing, a pet that's gone missing. It could be an object that they're trying to locate. It could be a cold case, some tragedy that's happened to their family that they're trying to seek some answers on. So, as psychic mediums, it's not often, but it happens on occasion that you might get clients who are looking for you using your psychic abilities to help them solve a mystery. Um, this started for me as working as a psychic medium, which started after being a Reiki master for about 15 years. I started to develop my mediumship abilities. The more I would work on clients, the more I would sense and feel spirits around. And come to find out, my clients were suffering from a grieving heart. And so I started to kind of naturally open up my mediumship abilities to help them heal, to help my clients heal. And then I started training more specifically and more directly to become a psychic medium. I studied at the Arthur Findlay College and did trance work. And then I did 2 years of training with, actually 3 years of training with Tony Stockwell, first as an advanced psychic spirit worker, and then for 2 years as a psychic detective. Um, it's been so rewarding to do this kind of work, and it's really not for the faint of heart. This is work that is pretty dark. You might sense or feel some tragedies as you kind of immerse yourself into a case. You'll hear horror stories of what people do to each other, murder victims, suicides, etc. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but it's for those of you that can stand a strong stomach and can go spread light into the dark. This is for you. And so over the years, I've worked on a number of cases, which I'm happy to chat about if anyone's got any questions. I've last year, almost a year, exactly a year ago, I was in Australia working on the Beaumont children case with Scott Russell Hill, who was on the Psychic Detective TV show in Australia. And it's such an honor to be able to work on these cases and maybe to provide some insight into what happened, where bodies might be located, who are the perpetrators, and try to help move cases along. A lot of times I'll work with a team of psychic detectives. So I've got my posse that I work with quite a bit. My friend John Basley, who is a phenomenal forensic astrologer. A lot of times we will work independently on a case and then come together and kind of compare notes. Him from the forensic astrology perspective, and myself from the psychic detective perspective. What it involves working on cases is kind of immersing your psychic energetic self into a case. It's not being an armchair detective. It's not using your brain to figure things out. It's really opening up your sixth sense. So your clairaudience, your claircognizance, your clairsentience, your clairvoyance, and audience. I think I already mentioned all those. It's opening up your clair so you can really tune into, who is the subject that we're trying to find if it's a missing person, who, if any, are the perpetrators, what do they look like? And then also there's a lot of mapping involved with locating bodies or locating objects or locating things that are hard to find. And so there's an element of almost remote viewing slash kind of shamanic journeying to try to understand where an object or a body might be located. And so the class that I've developed, a brand new class, it's going to be for 3 full weeks. We're going to be meeting once a week to go over active and solved cases. We're going to look at what's called subject profiling. So looking at who, the missing person or the victim in a case, and trying to get a sense of who they were, what makes them tick, by looking at pictures, by looking at birth dates, by looking at last known locations. And that's pretty much it. And that helps you to kind of build a psychic connection with the subject that you're trying to help solve a mystery on. Then we look at if there is foul play involved. We'll try to tap into if there's other perpetrators, one or more people involved that cause this person to die or cause this person to go missing. And we do what's called a profile. So, what does this person look like? Where do they live? What's their motivation? How they're related to the victim, and what were some of the things that took place when this person went missing or when this person was murdered. And then we look at in-depth ways, various ways of mapping. So we use our intuitive gifts, whether that's, again, using tools like Reiki or pendulums or dowsing rods, or like my friend John, forensic astrology, to kind of pinpoint on a map where a search and rescue can actually locate a body or locate a missing object. I've worked on, over the last 4 or 5 years, I've probably worked on over 100 cases. Some involve law enforcement, most involve family. We've been able to reopen cases in a lot of circumstances, which gives the family a lot of hope. We've been able to confirm things that family members kind of thought were what happened to their loved ones. And we were also able to kind of just bring a sense of peace and a sense of closure for a lot of people that had mysteries. And, there might not ever be physical evidence that they can use to put a case to rest. But with our intuitive gifts, we might be able to create the story or create the whole scenario for the loved one to have their answers met, so they can have a little bit of peace about what happened to their missing loved one, or God forbid, a loved one that was murdered in mysterious ways. And so when we do this work, it's not, again, for the faint of heart. You have to kind of go in and almost see through the eyes of the victim. And sometimes if you're clairsentient, you might also feel in your body how they felt as trauma occurred. And that's not always fun, and it's a little jarring at times. But again, it's only a psychic impression of what happened. And then you can, relay that to the family, or if you're working with the police department, I've been able to help locate missing people, and also with body retrieval in a number of different cases. I've gotten, in one particular case, there was a gentleman that went missing, and we weren't clear if he was in Tennessee, I think, or Kentucky. So there's 2 different states that he could have been in. And using some of the mapping techniques that I teach in this class, I was able to zero in within a mile radius of where he was actually found. There's a way to do that. And so it's shedding light in the darkness. It's using your gifts that you were given to help solve cases and mysteries that might not ever have any other means to be solved. It's giving hope and clarity, and sometimes closure, to families who are grieving and want answers. And it's also a really specific way, unique way to sharpen your clairs and your psychic abilities. Unlike mediumship, unlike doing psychic work, you have to be accurate doing psychic detective work. You can't provide information and have police just go, wasting resources on a hunch. Like, you need to be really clear, strong, and confident and your abilities in order to be able to do this work successfully. So again, the class, you can check it out on my website. It's franciesoito.com/learn if you want to check it out some more. I'm offering this to active working psychic mediums, those who are willing to look at these types of cases. We're going to look at cold cases, we're going to look at open cases and go through them one by one. And I'm going to share all the techniques I've learned, plus a couple of new ones that we're going to experiment with together. So again, that's going to start on March 9th, and it's going to take place for 3 Sundays from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, with homework and assignments throughout the week in between. And so if you've got any questions, if you want to learn more about the psychic detective work I've done, or if you've got a case yourself that you want some help being investigated, feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can reach me at, francie.soito@gmail.com, or on my website, franciesoito.com. And thanks for listening. And I hope this was helpful. And I hope to see you in class on March 9th.